It's getting really hot. I have the AC on in my apartment now, and like if the AC's on in my apartment, you know it's really hot because I go a long time without turning it on.
You sure do.
I know. I'm in my quince shorts. I'm in my quince linen. I couldn't be
Oh,
happier.
I think once you're in linen, you know it's summer, and I think if it's summer and you don't see somebody in linen, you got to say, get yourself some linen. You're sweating.
I posted a reel on Instagram, very rare, and I was wearing my quince linen pants, and someone, I guess a hooligan,
Stop.
commented, "Are those the quince linen pants?" And they were. Yeah.
Was it the one of you going across the street? Oh, I love
Yes.
that. You're wearing your quince linen pants.
Yeah.
Like 100% of European linen shorts and dresses from $30, Luxe swimwear, Italian leather platform sandals, and so much more. The best part is that everything from Quince is half the cost of similar brands because they work directly with top artisans and they cut out the middlemen. They give you luxury without the markup. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes.
Give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/who for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/who and get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/who.
You will dream it.
They wanna know.
Hey,
Mia.
hey,
Mia.
hey. I want to be famous.
Welcome to Who Weekly, the podcast where you'll learn everything you need to know about the celebrities you don't. I'm Bobby Finger.
I'm Lindsay Weber.
Pride is over. We're done talking about gay people, queer people. It's over. It's July 1st. We're talking about Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding.
Do you think that like the right, like do you think they like plan their wedding to be at the end of Pride Month to be like it's over?
It's
Like, you know,
over. Yeah, this is
enough.
I really didn't even want to talk about it because I was like,
I didn't either,
we've given
but
them enough lip service, but this is insane. And I like the framing of it being anti-pride.
It's anti-pride, but I think Lauren Sanchez is kind of like who to them fairy tale vibes. Like we talk all about like how do people go from kind of who to them, and I just like I think she did, and like here's how she did it, and like we've had it happen many ways. I mean, look at Zendaya, but like Lauren did it her
Zendaya.
way. I always say Zendaya. I don't know why.
She's a them now. She's Zendaya.
She's still a them. Even the invitation that they sent out to their wedding was hooey.
The invitation that Lauren and Jeff sent out for their wedding is one of the tackiest things I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen her wedding dress. So I'm just
drag
like
her.
shocked by this. Looks like the wedding invitation done by the cheapest person on Etsy. Like not even like the one you really wanted on Etsy.
It's not tacky in an expensive way. I think you're kind of actually misleading. It's like it's not tacky where like it has like bows and like pebbles and like gems like in it. You know, I think that's tacky too. Like, have you ever seen a wedding invitation that's like has like 3D
That's
elements?
like overdoing it. Yeah. This is actually just ugly, I guess. It looks like it's basic. It looks like a child did it.
Well, the other thing is on it that makes me laugh is they're like, no gifts. It's like, shut up. No gifts, please. Please, no
Donations
gifts.
on your behalf are being made to the UNESCO Venice office to safeguard this city's irreplaceable cultural heritage to restore the vital lagoon habitats that
There's really hundreds of Amazon boxes floating in the Venice canals, and they're like, we are safeguarding. Please. help us
they flew
safeguard.
to a city that's one of the most susceptible to the rising tides and
Yes.
climate change.
Yes.
Everyone flew there in like the most polluting private jet imaginable, and they're saying it's fine, divas. We're donating to UNESCO.
I love this because my mom sent me an Instagram reel and she was like, watch this. And the and the woman on the reel, no, but it was the woman on the reel was talking about how they chose Venice because when you get to Venice, like the coming off the boat is like a real paparazzi moment. And I was like, totally, like they use this for the Venice Film Festival. Like it really is kind of like going into Craig's restaurant in LA. Like it's just the most perfect pop shot zone. Like everyone can get a good angle on you, and like I don't think they didn't choose it for that. Like I know that they chose Venice because it's fucking Venice, but like there are lots of little elements that make this like perfect for kind of like the publicity that they knew they were going to get and honestly wanted. Because you could easily if you're a gajillionaire, you could get married in such secret. Like you could go and all your celebrity friends could pay to go to the most obscure place, you know?
Yeah. Did you read
You chose
Chloe
Times Square
Mall-
of Italy. What?
Did you read the Chloe Mall digital cover story for Vogue that she got?
No.
I didn't realize that. Well, I didn't realize that Lauren is like obsessed with Italy. Like it's very like,
Yeah.
well, I shouldn't say Italy. I should say like Italian women, like movie stars. Like in terms of like that particular definition of glamour, she's like Sophia Loren, Sophia Loren, Sophia
She wore
Loren.
Sophia Loren's like wedding dress knockoff for her wedding dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that I believe that aspect of it, but there's also like a more fundamental element there of something that she's been obsessed with since she was a child. But also, I'm sure she watches iconic Italian women like Stephanie Germanotta sail into the harbor or whatever, the dock, on her way to promote whatever movie she was promoting House of Gucci, and saying, I want exactly that.
Yes,
I want
iconic
exactly
Italian
that.
women like Stephanie Germanotta.
Yes.
I agree. I totally see that. It is the fantasy of it's her like fantasy. And I also think there's something about, and this I can't deny loving, getting married when you're like 55 years old. You're kind of thinking about those beautiful old movie stars that had like 12 marriages, and like we're always getting married at 55 years old, for like the fifth time. And I think Lauren is so kind of like, these are our second marriages. Like this is so like classic. We're so classic movie star in that way. Meanwhile, her husband's like a disgusting bald gremlin.
And she's like, they're talking about, they spend so much time talking about her dresses.
She's like, Jeff.
Well, do you see her on the cover of this? Like, again, she's on the cover of Vogue, but it's the digital cover of Vogue. And you're like, well, how is she on the cover of Vogue in her wedding dress when the wedding hasn't even happened yet when this is published? And it's like, well, this is from her fitting. She did a whole photo shoot before the wedding.
Of
the
course.
profile was written during a fitting, so it was like weeks ago. She's talking about her dresses, and in this cover photo, she's wearing this dress that has kind of like a sweetheart top over the cleavage, but then it's covered with lace over her entire, like, what do you call it? The décolletage and her arms. They're all they're all covered.
She's
and she
demure,
says
a bright
she
demure
says
bride.
something in the profile that's really funny. She's like, I've never worn a gown that showed this little cleavage. She's like, I've never worn a wedding gown,
She's so
a
funny
gown in
for
my
that.
entire life that like went up this high. So she's like, I'm trying to be classic movie star. I'm trying to be like classic like diva. And it's so much about that. Then Chloe turns the subject to Jeff, and it's like, what's he wearing? And she's like, he's wearing the most amazing tuxedo I've ever seen in my entire life. No tuxedo has ever looked better than it looks on Jeff. And then I've seen photos of him in this tux, and it's like
fine.
the most ill-fitting dump
It's
I've
fine.
ever, like somehow like such a frumpy tuxedo.
There is something telling about this digital cover being like at the end of Anna Wintour's like iconic Vogue career.
There's no way this isn't pay to play, right? This is one of Vogue does this.
No,
Magazines
no.
do this. Don't they?
I don't think it's pay to play. I don't think it's pay to play in the way that we were talking about that kind of that like Chinese pop star who was buying all the kind of like sub Vogues from across the world to like be on as like a fake way. I think this is real. I think this is newsworthy. I don't. People are reading this profile. It's written by a real writer.
In terms of who were there, it's interesting because it's
pretty
mostly
themmy.
thems.
Yeah.
It's mostly thems.
Yeah.
And you find yourself wondering, like, I understand the Kardashians are there because I believe that Lauren Sanchez and Kris Jenner have been friends for decades. I think that is just like an objective truth. So I understand why all of the Kardashian children were
Although
there,
I did
whatever.
read that Kris had to like petition for her kids to get invited, which I actually find kind of feels like a made up rumor. I did see, I saw
Yeah.
that, and then I thought this feels made up because if there's anything that Lauren Sanchez
I think
is,
Lauren would
she
want it.
is, well, she's seeing people at parties and going, you should come to the wedding. Like she is, that feels very the vibe of this wedding where it's like it's unlimited, so you're kind of like randomly running into people and being like, you should come to the wedding, like
Well,
come to the wedding.
She does say that there are only 200 guest spots and 70 of them are family. So there's only 130. Like, she keeps calling it intimate.
So you don't think she's kind of inviting random people to the wedding?
I don't. Well, I do and I don't. I just find it weird that she says, like, this is so exclusive. We want it so intimate and small. 'Cause
Interesting.
It's 70 family members and then 130
Okay,
friends.
well, maybe it's
But
exclusive.
I find it weird that of those 130 guests and friends, it's like Orlando Bloom and Sydney Sweeney.
Right.
Like, what? Why are these people
Well,
here? And there are no answers
Katy
to those
Perry's her
questions.
best friend, so she's gotten close to Orlando Bloom, who came to the wedding over Katy Perry. And now that they're like officially broken up, says People Magazine, etc., I do feel like it went from being like she's busy on tour and he just went to being like feels like a choice. Although she did comment on Katie's Instagram like, "We miss you, Mama."
We
you
miss
know?
you. We miss you.
So
Did
maybe
you see that
they're choosing both sides somehow.
Kygo is there too, and I was like, okay, they just hired a
Kygo
DJ.
was there?
Like they hired a European DJ to come to a European town and DJ their wedding. But no, It says, we're told, I believe this is from TMZ, we're told Kygo is a close friend of the soon-to-be husband and wife duo.
course,
And
of
he's ready to
course.
rock the Italian city to celebrate their love. So it's like, they're just the types of people who are like, my dear friend Sydney Sweeney, my dear
Yes.
friend Zed.
Why not? That'll be you. My dear friend Zed.
When I'm a billionaire, I'm like, I'm having my dear friend Zed to my 50th birthday party.
A lot of them's at this wedding we don't need to talk about. Like I don't like Oprah was there, great. Like okay, good for her. So, but who was like causing a stir at this wedding was weirdly like Orlando Bloom, Sydney Sweeney,
Ellie Goulding, Andrea Bocelli's son.
and the Nader sisters.
And the
I will
Nader
feel-
sisters.
And actually I feel like out of all these people, the only ones that we are qualified to talk about are the Nader sisters.
Yes.
Right?
Brooks and Sarah.
Brooks and Sarah Nader showed up to this wedding. God knows how they got here. Although Brooks has been everywhere recently, so it's like,
She has.
Do I think that Brooks Nader met Lauren and Lauren was like, "Come to my wedding"? I do.
She was like, you're fab. I love this.
Bring your sister, Sarah.
You're like,
Jane.
you have a sexy sister as well? Please get on the boat.
Sources familiar with the event tell TMZ Brooks and Sarah Jane, who's also a model, by the way, are now in Venice for the wedding festivities. Our sources say both ladies are single and they're ready to party and live it up. Italian style.
Brooks is single now because she finally dumped Gleb.
Well, her
Never
and Gleb
forget.
were, or will they, won't
They were
they,
on
for
and off.
decades. We had to
Yeah.
stop covering it. It got so boring. I said enough with Gleb, but apparently she also had a fling with Tom Brady, and he was at the wedding. So people were kind of like, "What will it be like when she sees Tom Brady?" I'm like, "What will be like when she sees Orlando Bloom, who is apparently like ripping the town apart with his newly single body?"
Orlando Bloom couldn't be spotted. Same for Tom Brady, but there are fewer photos of Tom Brady. Orlando Bloom could not be photographed with a woman without them saying, like, sparks fly, even though most of the photos that you saw of Orlando Bloom with a woman were cropped to cut out that woman's
I was going
either husband or boyfriend.
crazy at the photos of him walking nearby Sydney Sweeney on a street with a ton of people on it. They're like, he went on a walk with Sydney Sweeney. It's like, this is giving the most, like, we're going from location to location as a group.
Yeah, a huge group of people are surrounding them.
You can't be near Sydney Sweeney without like being attached to her. She really, unfortunately for her, I do feel like it's like she could not be near a man without potentially dating him. It's like she's soft launch city and she doesn't even mean to be. It's not fair.
We didn't really spend much time on Sarah Jane Nader, but she's a model.
Yeah, I know. I said
She's just a model.
Sarah Jane Nader. Okay,
I gotta say, Punnett Square, she looks a lot like Brooks Nader.
but tabloids were desperate to like attach Orlando Bloom to someone in such a pathetic way that they even got him like hugging a friend who is Katie's old stylist, this woman, Jamie Mizrahi, who goes by Sweet Baby Jamie on Instagram, who I think we've covered, like a classic vamp style person. And the photo could not be any less like it's not happening. And she's married and her husband was there. Right.
The photos from like a paparazzi trying to take a photo of what looks like a moving boat. And Orlando's in there with Jamie, but so were other wedding guests. And also Jamie's husband is on the boat with them.
Right. Her husband, Nico Mizrahi, was there with him when these pics were taken. And three friends have been enjoying their time together. Okay, whatever. Like, I'm not convinced by this. And I don't think anybody was. I think they were just trying to get people riled up. Like, any woman that Orlando Bloom was near at this wedding, he was attached to because of the breakup with Katie, which still has not been confirmed by either of them, I want to note.
I think this was you who bolted this, but I did really laugh out loud at this People coverage of it. So there's like exclusive coverage of this wedding from People, but it's exclusive in that they're talking to an anonymous source who was there. And so the anonymous source is like giving them stray details about like what they saw, what they heard, who they interacted with.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite lines is, quote, "Guests were treated to performances from Usher and DJ Cassidy, who got everyone from Oprah Winfrey to Leonardo DiCaprio, quote, dancing from start to finish, with one particular guest stealing the show." And this is the source quote, "Best Dancer Award goes to Jessica Alba. She was tearing up the dance floor." The same source tells Pizza. Why did I say pizza? The same source tells People. Sorry, I'm thinking of Italy.
That's very Italy.
Very Italy.
I'm in Italy on the red carpet holding just a piece of pizza out being like, comments for Who Weekly?
Well, then I saw that Charlize Theron was talking shit about this wedding, and I was like, love that. We love to see the celebrities just saying that this wedding sucks. Why is anyone doing this?
Yeah.
And I saw the headline, Charlize Theron jokes Jeff Bezos, Lauren Sanchez wedding attendees suck. And I was like, oh, I got to hear this full quote. And I was actually really disappointed. I was like, you can do better, Charlize. She was doing an event for Charlize Theron Africa Outreach Project, and it was on the Universal Studios backlot. She says, quote, I think we might be the only people who didn't get an invite to the Bezos wedding, but that's okay, because they suck and we're cool. And I was just
you
like,
tell
that's
him,
not quite as
Charlize.
like, that's not quite as much of an own or a dig as I wanted.
Well, you tell them. Anyone
They
who
suck.
like,
We're
anyone
cool.
who's famous enough to who could have been invited to this saying
Charlize.
it sucks is fine to me.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like she's really famous. Like if she's out here being like they suck, that's good. That's because so many celebrities are just kind of like, yay, like they're not really even trying to kind of say anything against these two literal
It's over now, right?
psychos.
There are no more events. We're done. I hope.
I mean,
think we're
we
done.
always say that, but who knows? They had 3 parties, including a pajama themed bash.
They also did the classic thing, which it to me, I was like, there's no way they didn't do this so that they could get coverage and get. They're trolling people when they were like, we did a Great Gatsby party. I was like, this is so self-aware. They are like leaning into it.
You don't think that they genuinely think like I genuinely think we're thinking about it as kind of a gag because it's such a Great Gatsby is so played out, like it's so like that's the stupidest kind of comparison you could whatever. But I think really Jeff Bezos thinks of him as a Great Gatsby. Like I think people who
He's like, Jay Gatsby is really cool.
like I truly think that people who like are like I'm living the American dream, like I made this money myself, like I think they're like I'm Great Gatsby, and they don't think about the end of Great, like they're not thinking about the part at the end where he dies, like they're just like I'm Great Gatsby.
They read the
like, I'm
first 2
throwing that
chapters and
party.
were like, I love this book.
Yeah. And you know who was at their fucking wedding? Leonardo DiCaprio, aka fucking Jay Gatsby, who maybe could remind them that he dies at the end. But actually, I don't think that Leonardo DiCaprio spoke to anyone at this wedding. I think he
No.
just came and like just stood around.
Wow, I can't believe that. Like, it's so weird that the places that Ellie Goulding pops up just really blow my mind.
I wasn't expecting
Ellie
you to
Goulding
say that.
performed 4 or 5 songs, and Andrea Bocelli's son, Matteo, who we've talked about on this podcast many times,
Yes.
sang as well. But that's, a local. They brought in a local Italian. Ellie had to fly in from, where does she live now? France?
I would love Ellie Goulding to sing at my wedding if I had
She
one.
seems fun. I think we've said this. She seems really fun.
She seems fun, and also like there's so many old hits from Ellie Goulding. I don't want the new ones. I want the old ones.
Play lights. Play lights. Play lights.
What if you came to my wedding and I was like, I had Ellie Goulding there, but it meant we could only listen to Ellie Goulding songs? Like there was no other songs. Like that was the
No, I would just go, play lights. You just have to keep playing lights.
okay. Well, you'd be like, Ellie, cover shout, do shout, and she would.
Cause I don't wanna lose you now. I'm looking round at the other half of me. The vacancy is set in my heart. It's a space and I hold. So show me how to fight for now. And I'll tell you, baby, it was easy coming back into you once I figured it out. You were right here all along. Cause it's like in my mirror staring back at me.
Moving on, Princess Diana's tall nieces.
We've talked about these two before. I think you put
Have
a comment in
we?
here that you were like, I'm obsessed with these two. They're killing me. And I wanted to be like, Lindsay, we talked about them years ago.
But then why are they still here?
Because I hadn't heard about them since the last time we talked about them.
When did we talk about them?
I couldn't tell you, but it was a few years ago because the Daily Mail is intermittently fascinated with Princess Diana's
Well,
twin
I'm
nieces.
fascinated with them too because
Yeah.
they are really funny. They're these beautiful twin blonde sisters who took a 23andMe test a few years ago and were like, we're identical. That's iconic. They didn't know they were identical. I'm like, I could
thought
tell
they
you
were
you
fraternal.
were identical.
Yeah.
Like you look like Lindsay Lohan copy paste. Like they don't look like Lindsay Lohan, but I'm saying in The Parent Trap. Like I can tell. You look like the same woman.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, and they are the nieces of Diana.
Diana.
Princess
Diane.
Diane.
Princess Diana would be a completely different vibe.
And they grew
That
up
is
in
a
South
different
Africa.
woman.
And they grew up in South Africa, so they were kind of shaded from like the tabloid world of the UK, but they still like partied, right? So there's all these like iconic videos of them like bending each other over and like party pics, like being like so crazy. And their older sister Kitty, they all kind of the three of them party. But now they are like adults and they're models, and all they do is like go to parties and like wear gorgeous dresses and get covered. But what's crazy is their story is kind of sad because it's like their parents were terrible to each other. Like their dad cheated on their mom nonstop for years and years and years, and their mom had a substance abuse and then died. And like, so they're kind of like these beautiful blonde models who are related to Princess Diana, whose own parents had like as tragic of a story as Princess Diana too. When you dig into it, so it's kind of like a miracle that they're even like at all self-assured or and kind of in the spotlight, in any kind of spotlight.
Yeah, and if you're trying to imagine what they look like, it's like, I know that you're probably wondering, well, what is it? Is it giving like Spencer Family Punnett Square? And it's like, they look like Diana in that they are blonde and beautiful.
Well, they look like, who are those sisters who make the show?
The Foster sisters.
They look like the Foster sisters meets Diana.
Yeah. They've also got a little bit of Margot Robbie in there as well.
They're also getting a little bit of matching twin filler. Like, let's be real. Like, there's also kind of like a cosmetic element that they are both getting the same amount of. Damn,
Yeah.
Having a twin, do you guys have to always, you guys answer my question if you're a caller. Are you guys getting the same treatments? Like, are you calling each other being like, babe, I'm going to do a little Botox right here. You should go get it done too, just in case.
Oh, so that you remain identical?
Yes.
That's actually really interesting. I'd never thought about that.
Because I am not trying to like get called out for plastic surgery because my twin looks normal, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's an incredible question.
One of you looks the way that you look, and then one of you has had a little bit of help from Dr. Miami.
Yeah, Dr. Miami. I'm scrolling through their Instagram feeds, and something that I find, maybe if you ask me on another day, I'd be like, I hate this. But because of their job, I actually do appreciate it. So they do the thing that like a parent of a twin who's, like a child, makes their twin children dress the same often. You see this happen. But they do that as 30-somethings.
And if you scroll all the way back, which I love about these girls, is they're not doing that kind of creative archiving where they're like trying to be like, we're only in our current era. If you go all the way back, literally it was not that long ago, 10 years ago, 2015, there are photos of them with like matching ironed, straightened, blonde, disgusting, bleached hair, like posing with each other. They look completely different. They look like they're like on holiday in Ibiza, and they're like, we are basic and we are fun. And like the fact that you can go from them being so poised and chic and, oh, like my wedding on the cover of Hello, and like, oh, here we are at this like event or whatever. You can scroll all the way back and be like, oh, remember when you two were just like party girls in South Africa,
Yeah, I'm there.
And there they are.
And they're doing the little like, sorry, I don't know how else to describe it. They're doing the like duck face thing. It's
of the time.
It's very of the time.
Sister and best friend all in one. So yeah, then they both got married to guys they've known forever.
Yes.
They figured out they were twins, identical twins. And then the news that we're responding to now and why we're talking about them again is that they dazzled in coordinated red gowns and royal coated jewelry on the red carpet for the Serpentine summer party.
I just hadn't seen them. I hadn't really noticed them being covered in a minute. And so I was like, oh, right, these two. I'm tickled by these two.
We must have talked about them as adjacent to something else. Or maybe we just talked
It was probably, you know what it probably was? It was probably when Meghan and Harry's wedding happened.
Yes,
and it was like, will or won't they be
they
invited?
attended.
And I was like, who are these women?
Okay, well, but maybe we just talked about their older sister, Kitty Spencer, and we didn't necessarily talk about her younger sisters, the twins, Lady Amelia Spencer and Lady Eliza Spencer, whose names we have not said until this point.
Yeah.
Classic Who Weekly.
Classic. I think we said them. Lady Amelia and Lady Eliza.
I think Kitty's more out there.
Yeah.
She has a 32-year age gap with her husband. Like, people are more like talking about Kitty.
Mm-hmm. Also, she's older, so I think she probably remembers her aunt a little better than these other two who were 4 and 5 when Diana died.
They are like, they're constantly being asked about their aunt, and they're like, we met her once, or so, like they were very young.
Yeah.
They were very young.
Hello everyone, I'm Eliza. I'm Amelia. Welcome to our Get Ready with the Natural Diamond Council for Leather Awards. Come on in.
Hi guys, I'm Kitty Spencer. I'm a model, philanthropist and a brand ambassador, and today I'm going to be taking you on a typical day in my life.
All right, Moving on. Savannah Chrisley may run for office so she can reform prisons. Oh my God.
You know,
I know, but I'm
You know-
sorry. I want prison reform, but I don't want
I
Savannah
don't want it from
Chrisley
Savannah
running
Chrisley.
it.
Right.
Yeah, like there's got to be somebody better qualified to reform our prisons than Savannah Chrisley. There's no way that Savannah Chrisley, though I understand maybe what's his name? Chrisley? Daddy Chrisley?
Todd.
I understand maybe that Todd Chrisley, after now serving time, understands more about the prison system than most, because I think you have to be in that to really understand. I don't think that his daughter understands, like has any sort of empathy for anyone other than herself and maybe her parents, you know?
Yeah. Well, she
Like,
made it very
she is
clear.
running on a platform of,
Well, she
what
made
she
it very
thinks
clear, based on the way this has sort of all played out, that she can't empathize with anyone unless she's she has to personally go through something for her to understand that a thing can be bad. And I don't necessarily think that's a quality that I want in my elected official, where it's like, oh, you have to go through something firsthand for it to mean something to you. The daughter of Todd Chrisley and Julie Chrisley shared on the 100th episode and season 3 finale of ABC News Studios' Impact X Nightline that she has considered running for Congress after fighting for prison reform and speaking at the 2024 Republican National Convention, while speaking to co-anchor Juju Chang alongside her parents for the Chrisleys' Life After Lockup. Savannah,
Totally.
27, said seeing
God.
Todd and Julie be convicted and in prison for tax evasion opened her eyes to the reality of life in American prisons. Okay, at the end of it, she says the same stuff she's been saying on TikTok for weeks now, that like the prison system is broken and there should be prison reform, and her eyes have been opened to like the inequities in this country, whatever. Juju says, when I saw you take the stage at the RNC, I thought, political career? Todd says, we cringe, but we're kind of thinking yes. Savannah says, there's been some talk of a congressional run. I don't know if that will or will not be the thing that I do, or if it's what I'm called to do, but I also believe that right now my goal is to speak to younger voters. And it's just like, yeah, but what are you going to say? So I think it's cool that someone seems to be opening up to the fact that, like, life sucks for other people, but like
What are you gonna say?
I fear for the things that someone like Savannah could be coerced into doing or saying if they became an elected official. You can't look at this family, even if they seem to have good intentions, without thinking like all of this is in the service of potentially another reality show.
Oh, it always is. And I feel like we should like move away from the Chrisleys because they had their like we are now just kind of like playing into their kind of publicity trap by continuing the conversation about them. Like, I cannot believe they were pardoned.
What was the first normal thing you did after coming out?
I think us having dinner, sitting down and having dinner, and being together again. We get to start over. And acknowledging that and giving God the glory for that.
The first meal.
Pizza Hut.
Zaxby's. The first night of sleeping in your own bed.
Heaven.
I want to be famous.
Look around. What do you see? Cars, lots of them. And guess what? They're probably on AutoTrader. Whether you're into timeless classics or the latest trends. Did somebody say solar-powered, eco-friendly, vegan leather-wrapped, aromatherapy-scented, disco ball-equipped self-driving car? If you see it on the road, you can likely find it on AutoTrader. Big cars, small cars, blue cars, new cars and used cars, electric cars. And one day, maybe even flying cars. With millions of options to choose from, buying a car becomes a whole lot easier. See it, find it. AutoTrader.
Hey, what's up, flies? This is David Spade.
Dana Carvey.
Look, I know we never actually left, but I'll just say it. We are back with another season of Fly on the Wall.
Every episode, including ones with guests, will now be on video. Every Thursday, you'll hear us and see us chatting with big-name celebrities.
And every Monday, you're stuck with just me and Dana. We react to news, what's trending, viral clips.
Follow and listen to Fly on the Wall everywhere you get your podcasts.
Don't miss out. Global Poker is buzzing with nonstop action. From social poker and slots to exciting new tournaments and exclusive offers. Your friends are already in on the fun. Are you? Sign up today for your free welcome offer and unlock the thrill within. Play anytime, anywhere. And don't let your chance to redeem some serious prizes slip away. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. T&Cs apply.
I want to be famous.
We can move on to Larsa Pippen's new tequila brand that may or may not actually happen.
I think it doesn't exist, which is iconic.
She did, in fact, she did seemingly invest $800,000 into a tequila brand called Olujo Tequila.
Okay, I saw that information, and I think she might have said it on the show, which, by the way, is back. And I want to point out that
Real Housewives of Miami, Larsa Pippen.
This is all giving show is back, so we need plot lines. So this kind of is one of them. And so I'm a little bit wary of like even discussing this. I do think what's funny is it's very Larsa Pippen to invest in like a $500 tequila that looks so ugly and is like such an ugly bottle that even like when they were 3D printing the bottle, they couldn't figure out how to like get it to print and like work.
Yeah. So
it's so ugly.
The brand that seemingly exists that Larsa allegedly invested almost $1 million into. And again, she said this on a television show. She didn't say this under oath. Like, we don't even know if this is true.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm also kind of like, we don't need to include any other plot points. I just, like, from this show around this tequila, you know?
But the brand is called Olujo, aka it starts with an O, and the bottle or the theoretical bottle for this theoretical tequila
like a Dune set piece that like somebody made and was like, you know what, this looks stupid, get rid of this.
So it's a bottle that has a hole in the middle to make it look like an O, which means it's probably pretty expensive and complicated to actually make. And they only have a 3D printed version of it like on their website. I guess they showed it on the episode of Real Housewives of Miami, but they haven't showed the final product. So I think everyone's sort of questioning, is what Larsa Pippen announced on Real Housewives of Miami a real business venture, or is it just sort of a fake thing that she created so that she could have a subplot? There's a website for it. They say it's $500, but God knows when it's actually going to be delivered to you, you know?
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't order a $500 bottle of tequila on the internet. And trust that like things are going to work out for you, like in terms of the tequila and your life, maybe. I don't know. And like, who's trusting Larsa Pippen like for any kind of business? Like, I just don't. Number one kind of scammer celebrity at this point, like, or she's just up there, you know? I'm glad she's making the show entertaining though. Like for those fans of Real Housewives of Miami, I'm like, oh, I know she's such an important part of that equation.
You can go to the website and fill out the form and order a bottle, but I just don't trust that it'll come to you. I don't trust that this is real for some reason. Based on what everyone's writing about this, it's like, I haven't seen anyone say like we tasted it, you know? But if you're willing to spend $500 on a bottle of tequila because you saw it on an episode of Real Housewives, you deserve what's coming to you, whether that's tequila or an empty box.
I think legally all housewife products should be under a certain price, you know? Like if you are a housewife and you're trying to sell me a product, like it needs to be under $50. That should be across the board. Period.
How much were the 3-wick candles?
Which ones? Whose? Oh, what's her face?
Only Karen had the 3-wick.
I think they were pretty expensive, actually.
Yeah, they were expensive. Candles. Yeah, they were. I think they were over $50, but I don't think they were over $100.
Have I ever bought a housewife product? I don't think so. Not even like Skinny Girl. Maybe one time Skinny Girl something as a gag. Not even maybe as a gag.
Maybe as a gag.
What do you guys do the morning of reunion? Like, take me, Larsa, Wendy, take me through your morning routine. Yeah. You start drinking. That's a strategy.
Well, no, you know what? I think it's really stressful because I feel like everything that you've said, you've been a part of, good, bad, you know, could like potentially come back to like, you know, you have to answer to it. So I think it is stressful and it's such a long day.
Yeah.
It's like the longest day of life. So I'm not even a drinker, but I feel like for the reunion, I have to have a shot at like 6 a.m.
What about you, Wendy?
Drinker, but I'm like, I need tequila.
I feel like you need to weigh in on this for me for a second, because here's the thing. Rob McElhenney, whose last name I've been knowing how to pronounce for a while now. Yeah. But then again, I watch Welcome to Wrexham, I watch Sunny, Boston. So blah, blah. Well, because you're saying because I'm from Boston, I'm Irish somehow, and I know how to pronounce Rob McElhenney.
You're around these names. It's these names are your heritage.
I'm not even Irish.
No, I'm saying you're around people like Rob McElhenney.
Okay, sure. That's not true.
People like Rob McElhenney.
Rob McElhenney is changing his name. He wrote about this in Variety, like that he was going to change his name to Rob Mac to make it easier. I feel like this is just a continuation of like how bad, how in it in a bad way, like celebrity wise, Rob and
Ryan Reynolds,
Caitlyn are at this point. But like, I think Ryan Reynolds basically like turned Rob and Caitlyn into kind of celebrity monsters. And trust me, I love Sunny and I'm excited for it to come back and I will be watching it. But I think like you cannot live the way they live without becoming absolutely kind of insane. And I think this is kind of part of that. Like, there's just no way that Rob McElhenney of a few years ago and he was like pretty much the same famous as he is now, basically would have this idea and be like, I need to brand my name for international audiences.
And I love these people, but I think they are like the peak example of like people who are so funny in their TV shows and their acting roles, who are probably the diametric opposite of like
but
how
I think they used to be close. I think what's so magic about Sunny is that it felt so out of nowhere and authentic to these people, and you could feel their real friendship and you could feel the real kind of like power of their comedy together.
So they were on the cover of Variety a couple of weeks ago, if not a month ago.
Yeah. Looking very shiny. The teeth are huge and the tans are tan and the faces are faced, you know?
Yes. They're both quite successful right now. Caitlyn is like having Emmy buzz for that show High Potential that she's in. She's also still on Hacks. Rob is doing more and more stuff beyond It's Always Sunny. Like he has that Apple TV show that did get canceled, Wrexham, which is huge.
They're now all obsessed with being entrepreneurs because of Ryan Reynolds.
Yes. Yeah. So there's a line in this. So this is very much like, it's about the state of their careers and their relationship. They're stronger than ever, and they're both like so excited about this new rise and fame level and this new rise in success that's happening at this stage of their lives. So it says, Reynolds also has his pals back, meaning Rob, creating an entire music video last year for McElhenney's birthday as a pronunciation primer on how to say his last name. It really is quite simple, McElhenney. But as More Better Industries has upped its global investments, including soccer teams in Colombia and Mexico, McElhenney has found that his last name is a constant source of confusion. He tells me that he's even pondering a name change. Quote, as our business and our storytelling is expanding into other regions of the world and other languages in which my name is even harder to pronounce, I'm just going by Rob Mac.
Sure, he's got a pretty face that people know they know. They think they recognize him from his big-time TV show. But despite the accolades, despite the load of fame, one thing that they do not know is how to say his name. Pronouncing all those N's and E's and H's can perplex them. So here's a little birthday gift from all your mates in Wrexham. It's McElhenney, while ways to massacre and mispronounce it there are many.
McElhenney.
It's McElhenney.
McElhenney.
If there was doubt, now there won't be any. It's McElhenney.
If you had read this in an interview with Rob McElhenney in like 2009, you would have been like, LOL, what a funny guy. And if you read it in 2025, you're like, that guy's nuts. He's so serious.
He's so right.
There's no humor there. He's like, no, it makes business sense because as we become a more global brand, I want to make sure that my name is something that is able to be pronounced by every place that we work. You know, like that's not a joke.
I know. He looks at Ryan Reynolds, and he's like, wow, what a perfectly easy to pronounce name.
Yes.
I'm kind of like, you're too famous to change your name at this point, but like it is funny and actually really cynical that it's like not because he's not famous enough here, it's because he's not famous enough abroad, which is like even more gross to me. Like, right?
Yeah.
The Ryan Reynolds effect is really like powerful.
And he's never said, I don't want to put too many words in his mouth and say that like he's explicitly said that like he's inspired by his dear friend Ryan Reynolds, who he has that show with, Welcome to Wrexham, and like they found so much success in this like soccer venture. But like, what's the alternative? This is the guy who inspired him. I think there's a difference between like a guy who's famous for a long running comedy show saying like, I really want to be known for being a serious actor and being a dramatic actor, and what Rob is doing, which is like, I need to be a media mogul, essentially. Like, I need to be like a successful global entrepreneur, a business person. And I think that there's something much darker about that than there is about what is really a tale as old as time about a comedic actor being like, I want to be taken seriously.
But I guess the other thing that always makes me laugh is I always think about that clip of Rob talking about he's like doing some interview for some, whatever outlet, and they're showing a picture of him when he gained a lot of weight for Sunny, and then he lost a lot of weight for Sunny and was like ripped, and they were like, somebody had wrote like, it's a good, when someone really does it for the comedy. No one ever has done it for the comedy more like Rob McElhenney on Sunny. And he goes, excuse me, if you saw how much I was being paid to do that, you'd do it too. Like, he is already so cynical about, like, he's not like saying, thank you, yes, I did it for the comedy, I did it for the art. He's like, no, I did it for the money. A network paid me a lot of money to do what you're seeing, like what you saw there.
Hey, what's up, bitches? I did it. I'm 200 pounds. I'm as big as my avatar.
What's an avatar?
You know, the avatar that we're going to get to do all of our work for. So I can go sailing and Dee can tell her stupid jokes and Dennis can pour more acid on his face.
Dude, that was like a million plans ago. All of us, including you, we've been engaged in many other plans and schemes since then. Where have you been?
You guys dropped the tipping point? Yeah. I thought we were just putting it on the back burner until I hit 200.
Huge news. I know we said we were making this a straight episode, but we have to talk about the fact that AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers are dating. Can you believe it?
Sorry, say it again.
AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers are dating. And according to this...
Can I say it?
Yeah, you say it.
AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers, they're dating.
They're dating. Well, what I love is the tweet that you saw that was posting the post from Autostraddle. Autostraddle
the perfect audience for this.
Yeah. Autostraddle captioned their story, yes, AZ Fudd is Paige Becker's girlfriend, with the caption, "We are screaming." They're basketball players. Of course they're basketball players.
I'm sorry, but if Autostraddle isn't screaming for AZ Fudd and Paige Becker's relationship to basketball players, who else is screaming? Like, sure. You better be screaming.
Yeah.
Like, good. You know?
Yeah. AZ Fudd and Paige Beckers, they play for UConn. So they're Huskies, a college basketball team. And I guess they've known each other. They were both drafted for, I guess they're going to start for the WNBA this year. They met in high school.
They've known each other since high school.
They've known each other since high school. They are both very good college basketball players, and they've both been drafted.
We first met at USA Basketball, the U16s, and my first impression with Paige is I think it was right before they made the final cuts, and we were on the same team, and I looked at her and I was like, oh, like this white girl, she's got nothing on me. Like, I don't need to worry about her taking
She thought I was
spot.
flavorless. She didn't know I had flavor yet, so.
I quickly realized that I was wrong.
I think Paige was the first pick in the WNBA draft for 2025, and now they're dating, and the lesbians are so thrilled. So thrilled.
And we knew that they were together when people zoomed in on a photo of them to AZ's phone, which is which has a case on it and a sticker, or at least like a custom case. Who knows? I think it's a custom case, which is even crazier.
It's got to
than
be custom.
And they zoomed in, and then they did, wait, what's that? They reversed the words because, again, we're looking in a mirror. She's taking a photo in a mirror, and on the back of her phone it says Paige Becker's girlfriend.
Paige Becker's girlfriend.
So they're like, oh my God, this hard launch. But it's like, you got to do a lot of like CSI Miami work on this photo to get this hard launch.
And I want to correct the record before the lesbians call in. AZ is still playing for UConn. Paige is already in the WNBA. She plays for the Dallas Wings. They're a year apart.
Put down your phones, lesbians.
Put down your phone, lesbians. I figured it out, and I'm sorry.
Delete our number right now. Not from your phone, but just from the typing.
Just from the typing right now. It's totally fine.
Okay. Obsessed with this headline. Brokeback Mountain type. Is that where we are currently? I guess the movie just
Brokeback Mountain
20,
type.
But...
Fans erupt as AZ Fudd's wholesome reaction to Paige Becker's cowboy fit sparks chatter online. And the photo is a screenshot of AZ FaceTiming with Paige, and AZ's mouth is like agape, and Paige is wearing denim and a cowboy hat, and someone responded, Brokeback Mountain type fit.
Somebody responded
on Twitter.
It's not even.
A username OK2116946 said, Brokeback Mountain type fit.
User OK2116946 said, Broke Mountain type fit.
Yeah. Sports Illustrated wrote, Paige Becker shocks girlfriend AZ Fudd in full cowboy fit on FaceTime. The Dallas Wings rookie Beckers is in the full Texas spirit, missing the current UConn star Fudd while she's on a family cruise. This really tore the lesbian internet apart a couple days ago.
Well, or like brought them together.
Brought them together, I guess is a better way of putting it.
They're not
Excuse
really
me.
being torn apart. But Pride Month is over, so
we don't care.
let's move on.
Let's move on to straight people. We're done. This is classic
Pseudo
straight
cheating
mess.
accusation, Casey Hill
Well,
and Lord. Oh,
queer adjacent
God.
mess.
This is crazy, guys.
This is
God,
crazy.
when have when's the last time I said I talked to you guys and said guys? I feel
Guys,
like
this
I'm
is
blocking.
crazy.
Guys, this is crazy.
This actually is.
Funny because I did see Lorde out with Jimmy Stack at Superiority Burger a few months ago, but they're working together on this album, so I wasn't like, oh, they're in love.
They've been working together on this album for like a year.
Casey Hill is a musician who I actually listen to and really like. I wouldn't say she's big,
She's very
but she's
hooey.
like she's got some great albums, and she's a beautiful singer. And she made a TikTok before we even try and she made a TikTok, and it was soundtracked by Lorde's new song Man of the Year from her album Virgin. And people had been using Man of the Year, which is ironic, like not really in the way the song intends, but kind of in their own way.
Yeah.
Bastardizing this Lorde song to kind of use it as a sarcastic, oh, well, let's hear it for the Man of the Year.
Right.
And it's like a screenshot of your boyfriend being like, I'm dumping you or whatever. I'm moving to Idaho.
As
or
opposed
like whatever
to a song that is maybe more explicitly about like a gender journey or like gender exploration.
Exactly. But it's getting bastardized. But also music is made to be interpreted. So I'm sure Lorde isn't even mad about that. But I just think it's interesting how TikTok has taken up this song and made it something. So Casey Hill sees that trend. She goes, interesting. Ironic even that this trend I relate to in a way that is actually kind of connected to Lorde. So she posts a selfie of herself, and let's just put this out there. She's also promoting music. So let's just, okay. So she has songs coming out. She's promoting her music, but she posts this TikTok of her. It's playing Man of the Year. She captions it, let's hear it for the Man of the Year who ended a 6.5-year relationship while making a girl's album, then started dating her. Okay. This is not hard to reverse kind of research. Who was Casey Hill dating for 6.5 years? That's right, the producer Jimmy Stack, who just made Lorde's new album Virgin, Jimmy Stack. The other kind of evidence about this, which let's not even bring up the PowerPoint, but I just did because I'm in it, and I do feel crazy that I'm in that PowerPoint.
You're in it.
The famous PowerPoint. You were there too.
I was there, but you're in it.
The famous PowerPoint where, Lorde is accused of essentially stealing Jack Antonoff from Lena Dunham. Again, these are all kind of accusations. They were a lot unfounded. They even caused Lorde to even kind of speak back against it a little bit.
There's
deny
just a lot
all
of
this
Lorde
stuff.
lore,
And the guy that Lorde recently broke up with is not Jack Antonoff. It's a different guy. So she dated a different guy for years too. It's just confusing, but people suspect it, and that's why I think this is even more of a potent rumor or a potent accusation, let's say, because Lorde had been rumored to be dating this other music producer that she worked with for a long time, right? The thing is, this guy makes a lot of people's albums, so I'm also kind of she never says Lorde.
She
and
never
then in
says
the comments,
Lorde.
she's like, I never said Lorde.
She also never says that he cheated.
No, and then she's saying we broke up and then he moved on.
Yes.
It's not like it overlapped.
When you take the time to actually read what she wrote, you're like, oh, this is way less of a accusation than it seemed at first glance. And she even clarified, she was just like, he started making an album for another woman, left me, and then started dating her. Maybe nothing shady happened, but I can be annoyed by that fact.
Yes, that's just the timeline of events.
It's just the timeline of events. And maybe we were going to break up anyway. And then I think she even says in this follow-up video, which I can play right now.
I'm not dense. I know relationships don't always work, and that one certainly was not working. And I am grateful for it now. But we also have to have a little chuckle, a little laugh about the things that happen to us sometimes. And I'm in a wonderful, loving relationship now, and that's great. I just saw a funny moment, and I had to. Also, genuinely had no idea that album was coming out today. I have muted a lot of words and don't really try and not have Instagram and TikTok on my phone all the time, and muted a lot of accounts and words so that I didn't see their faces every time I opened up my phone, because it made me not feel great. So I had no idea that was coming out today. Oops. But, anyway.
The line where she goes, the relationship already wasn't working. when
Yeah,
he
and
broke
she
up with
replies in
her.
the comments, it wasn't a great relationship
Yes.
anyway, LOL. I mean, it's 6 years, though. That's a long time. And then she wrote, for the record, I'm very happy and moved on, but they set this up too well for me not to partake.
Mhm.
They just set this up. They beating what? The internet? Lord? I don't know.
TikTok,
That's what's
virality. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. Right. So, yeah, we don't know whether this means Lord. I mean, look up who Jimmy Stock has been producing recently. We don't know when they broke up. 6.5 year I don't really know the timeline on this.
Well, I put the
right?
timeline down at the bottom. So
Oh, you did? Okay.
They broke up in the middle of 2024, Casey and Jimmy Stack, but Jimmy Stack started working with Lorde in 2022. So they had been working together for maybe 2 years, and then at some point during the production of Virgin, seemingly mid-2024, Jimmy Stack and Casey broke up. And
But was Jimmy Stack just working on Lorde, or was he working on other people's
he
albums
was working
too?
on, of course he was working on other people's
know.
albums, but
Right.
the thing is, they're the ones who were allegedly dating. So they're the only ones who check all the boxes of Casey's TikTok accusations.
Okay.
But again, she says just enough to get people excited, and then also say, listen to my new music.
He also worked with Bon Iver. Is she talking about Bon Iver?
No. Well, he does say dating a girl's album and dating her.
No, I know. I'm teasing. Okay, it's fascinating. Well, okay, we sleuthed that one out like the internet sleuths we are, I guess.
Casey's follow-up just made it very clear that she was like, she wanted this to go viral. She wanted to say, like, by the way, listen to my music. And I think she got exactly
Stream
what she
Casey
wanted out of
Hill's,
this. Yeah.
Whatever the hell she's promoting. I like Casey Hill a lot.
Please don't cry. Twist and turn in every single night. Please don't cry. You make it hard to let it die.
I want to be famous.
Ready to level up? Chumba Casino is your playbook to fun. It's free to play with no purchase necessary. Enjoy hundreds of online social games like blackjack, slots, and solitaire anytime, anywhere with fresh releases every week. Whether you're at home or on the go, let Chumba Casino bring the excitement to you. Plus, get free daily login bonuses and a free welcome bonus. Join now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Play Chumba Casino today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+. TNCs apply. Ready to level up? Chumba Casino is your playbook to fun. It's free to play with no purchase necessary. Enjoy hundreds of online social games like blackjack, slots, and solitaire anytime, anywhere with fresh releases every week. Whether you're at home or on the go, let Chumba Casino bring the excitement to you. Plus, get free daily login bonuses and a free welcome bonus. Join now for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. Play Chumba Casino today. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21+. TNCs apply.
Planning a trip this year? Imagine how much richer your travel experience could be if you could speak the local language. Whether you're traveling abroad, planning a staycation, or just shaking up your routine. What better time to dive into a new language? With Rosetta Stone, you'll gain the confidence to have real conversations and create deeper connections wherever you go. Rosetta Stone is the trusted leader in language learning for over 30 years. Their immersive, intuitive method helps you naturally absorb and retain your new language on desktop or mobile, whenever and wherever it fits your summer schedule. With 30 years of experience, millions of users, and 25 languages to choose from, Rosetta Stone is the go-to tool for real language growth. Don't wait. Unlock your language learning potential now. Listeners of this podcast can grab Rosetta Stone's lifetime membership for 50% off. That's unlimited access to 25 language courses for life. Visit rosettastone.com/rs10 to get started and claim your 50% off today. Don't miss out. Go to rosettastone.com/rs10 and start learning today.
I want to be famous.
Dermot Mulroney files for divorce, wants spousal support for himself, not for her. The reporting on this confused me because I read it copied and pasted into the doc, so it didn't have timestamps. And then when I read it in situation in TMZ, it made much more sense. So in the original,
he was named to a woman named Prima Apollinaare.
Yeah, for a long time.
Gorgeous name.
So
Prima Apollinaare.
There was reporting in the original TMZ announcement over this where it said, According to divorce docs obtained by TMZ, the actor is asking for spousal support from Prima, but he's also asking the court to block her from getting support from him. Yep, he wants to cash in,
too.
not shell out, okay? I guess after they published this, because she's rich. I guess after they published this, someone's publicist reached out and was like, you got this wrong, or someone's lawyer. Because they added an addendum to this or an update at the top that says a source close to the couple, meaning either the couple or like a publicist or a lawyer, tells TMZ neither side is asking for anything and no one is denying anything. They are not arguing over the children nor money. We're told they used mediators and not lawyers as they are friends and this is amicable and they were advised to file this way. So they're saying that early reporting about like Dermot asking for all this money in spousal support is not true. So that kind of makes the whole thing less interesting because I was like, damn, Dermot.
She's an icon.
Wow.
Wait, go to her Instagram. Like, I'm obsessed with her already. Sorry. I didn't know she existed and now I'm obsessed. Her website is primasings.com. So I don't really know. Like, she's singing.
Isn't her Instagram something funny? It's like, she's singing, she sang. Oh, it's she sing, she sung.
I'm already kind of like, I can't wait to play a clip of her music here, even though I've never heard it, you know?
We'll watch, listen.
I'll stand up and patch it up and try again. Even if I'll never be the same. You can drag me and talk about. You can insult me and be loud. I always find my way. I'm stronger than what they say.
Please turn it off, actually. If only I knew that Dermot Mulroney's wife was making such beautiful music.
I'm assuming that she's from a rich family because, like, how else do you make music that sounds like that? But her birth name, she changed her name to Prima Apollinaare, which if you thought that was a stage name, you were correct. Her birth name is Tharita Cutul, and she was born to Italian musicians and has lived in California for a long time. But yeah, she's from a family of musicians, and she changed her name to Prima when she wanted to become a famous singer.
Love that and sad. Love that and sad, you know?
Love that and sad. I just had no idea that Dermot Mulroney was married to anyone, let alone Prima, let me say this right, Apollinaare.
My friend, he lives somewhere downtown. I haven't heard from him, he hasn't been around. I heard these days are turning black. He fell into a hole, he never can come back. I wish that I could tell him. The answer is so simple. Just raise your hand and stand up for love. Lift your head and rise above everyone around you.
Suzanne Summers' widower, Alan Hamill, confirms romance with late wife's co-star, Joanna Cassidy.
Obsessed with this.
He's 88 years old. This is so...
I'm obsessed with this.
This feels weirdly like classic. Am I wrong? Like, this happens.
Yes, but I also feel like Suzanne Summers is in heaven being like, yes, fuck my husband. Like, he like,
needs
because
to
she
be
was so
fucked.
obsessed with, well, but she was so obsessed with her husband's like, being like dicked down by her husband and being like, we still have sex. Like, my husband's so good at sex. Like,
we have
even
sex every day. You have to have sex
like
every day.
85 years old, we're fucking every day.
Mhm.
Like, I think Suzanne Summers would really appreciate that her old friend Joanna Cassidy is like receiving the gifts of Alan Hamill, which seem to be plentiful, even at age 88.
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
yeah. Oh,
Like-
yeah.
Okay, and also if you're wondering, Joanna Cassidy, who is that? She was Zora in Blade Runner.
Yeah.
Okay? In real life, she's fucking Alan.
But do you know who her most iconic role? How could you not know her most iconic role?
Well, is it the Smokey Bear PSA commercial that I put here?
I know a place that's peaceful and quiet. A place where animals play. It's called the forest. But every year we start forest fires. A careless match, a cigarette, and poof, fire. So the next time you're in the forest, be extra careful, okay?
If you knew it was me, would you have listened?
No. It's even better than that.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead.
Yeah, she's Rose. I'm right on top of that Rose. You know who's right on top of that Rose now? Suzanne Summers' ex-husband. I'm right on top of that Rose.
Oh, one more thing, and this is so important. Whenever we're not alone or I'm on the phone and I ask you something, doesn't matter what it is, you always say, I'm right on top of that, Rose. Okay? Okay, not at all. We'll messenger them right over. Sue Ellen, how are the cost estimates for the superintendent coming? He needs them this afternoon.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
She is Christina Applegate's boss in Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, one of the greatest movies ever made.
Okay, and so now Alan Hamill's like, I'm right on top of that.
I'm right on top of that, Rose.
Rose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is iconic.
Joanna Cassidy and Susan Summers were apparently friends. That's a story they're at least telling now. They worked together.
Well, they were
in the past.
co-stars.
Yeah.
On the 1985 miniseries Hollywood Wives.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you were wondering, was that the Jackie Collins show? Yes, it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was. The Sex and the City of the 80s.
And Alan says
Kinda.
that on her deathbed, literally, Suzanne was like, you have to move on. You have to move on. You have to move on. You have to, like, fuck another woman. And he was like, anything you say, Suzanne. And it's been 2 years, and now he's right on top of Rose.
And if I had a husband who was dicking me down to the very end and I died, I would say, as I was dying, go fuck my friends.
Go fuck my friends, please.
Please, Alan,
Please,
I love you.
go fuck my
Remember when
friends.
she died and Alan was like, she's haunting me? I'm like,
Yes.
Gavin Rossdale walked his daughter Daisy Lowe down the aisle. Don't forget, this is the daughter that he like denied having and then was like, I guess that's my daughter.
Yeah. Because if you find yourself wondering, like, where's Gwen? It's like, well, this isn't Gwen's kid. This is Gavin's kid.
And Gavin is still dating that woman who looks exactly like Gwen Stefani when she was in No Doubt. Not new Gwen Stefani, not Jesus Gwen Stefani, the old Gwen Stefani.
But this woman wasn't the nanny, because the Gavin iPad situation was a different affair. Daisy Lowe is 36 years old. Like, Daisy Lowe was conceived long before Gavin met Gwen.
But he did cheat on Gwen.
Oh yeah,
With the
that's why
nanny.
they broke up.
Okay.
And that's
Yeah.
how the iPad
Got
thing
Okay.
happened. The story with Daisy Lowe is that she spent most of her childhood not knowing that her father was Gavin Rossdale.
That's Liv Tyler style, and I think that's the right way to. I mean, it's obvious. What's the right way, wrong way? It's not, wrong way. It's nice to know who your father is, but I'm saying like that's how you get the most normal vibe.
Mhm.
You know, when you find out later in life, or when you find out you're a Hadid sister.
You find out you're a Hadid
already an
sister when you're like
adult.
18 years old. Exactly. Yeah.
So she got married. She met her man. She met her man, Belgium Shepherd. Wait, no, that's a dog.
That's a dog.
Wait, his name isn't Belgian Shepherd.
Nope.
Okay, his name is. What's his name? A real estate
Jordan
developer.
Saul.
Okay, she met a real estate developer in the park in Hampstead Heath.
Yeah.
Oh, that is romantic.
Isn't that
when her
romantic?
Maltese terrier, Monty, ran over to a very handsome Belgian Shepherd. Okay,
Yeah.
he had a Belgian Shepherd. His name
thought
isn't
that-
Belgian.
You thought that she ran up to a shepherd from Belgium.
Yes, I thought she ran up to a Belgian Shepherd.
Who happened
meaning,
to
like
be
a guy
handsome.
who's. Yes, I didn't know that was a dog. I didn't know that was a dog.
It seems like an iconic wedding. I was hoping you would get to the guest list because it seems really fun.
I'm sorry, you get Alexa Chung, Pixie Geldof, and Nick Grimshaw.
You get Grimmy
You're
himself.
That is the trifecta of cool British vibes, right? Like, I saw a great Instagram of someone taking a selfie with Alexa Chung at Glasto, and I was kind of like, wow, like that's like
Wow.
the person to get a selfie with at Glasto.
Is Alexa
Glastonbury.
still with Tom Sturridge? I know that they were like
I think so.
seemingly engaged, but I don't know that they ever got
I think so.
married. Ugh,
I think so.
that's a couple. That's a good couple.
All right, so
Ay, ay, ay. I'm
lots
looking
of-
at photos of Tom Sturridge. Ah.
Ay,
Okay.
ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay.
I didn't know you felt that way about Tom Sturridge.
Sometimes.
So
Sometimes.
Gavin Rossdale walked her down the aisle. That's great. Love it. Marion Cotillard is splitting up with her husband. Oh, this is
I love
dangerous.
this. This is
what will
so
she
dangerous.
do? Is she going to go to the moon now?
Well, I was going to say, no, she doesn't think you can go to the moon. They probably disagreed over whether or not the moon has been landed on.
This is crazy. Right before her premiere on the morning show, season 3.
No, this is great. You
Four?
want to get rid
Three?
of this before the PR cycle starts, right? You want to
Do you?
You want to get this out of the way before it like overtakes what you want to actually talk about when you're doing your morning show season 4 press tour.
Sure. I can't wait to see what she says in French about the morning show and her work there.
What I liked about this was I think this was all French translated to English, but they
Yeah.
announced their breakup in a statement given to like the Agence France Presse, which is like the French AP. And
Yeah.
they gave them a blanket statement that said they were, quote, publicly revealing their breakup to avoid all speculation, rumors, and risky interpretations. The former couple didn't share why they were separating, but they said it was, quote, by common accord and was with mutual goodwill.
They've been friendly for a decade. Before
Yeah.
then, they appeared on screen together in the French language film Love Me If You Dare from 2003.
They're iconically private. When they got married, they denied that they were
Iconically
wedding. When they
private.
got married, they denied they were married for like years and years and years.
And they had 2 kids, and they've been married for 18 years, and now they're breaking up. Okay. God, I cannot wait to see her on the morning show.
Me
Like,
either.
what will she do?
Me either.
What will she even fucking do on the morning show?
She's going to be the fire that show has needed for like 2 seasons.
I hope I really think we have to think so.
That is one of cinema and like the entertainment industry's kookiest people and performers, who is like, even though she's a lunatic, like is so compelling in everything she's done.
I know. And imagine her across from some of our greatest actresses doing some of their worst work, you know? Think about that. Will she elevate the work of some of our greatest actresses doing their worst work? I don't know. Will she be bad on this show? Probably. No one can be good on that show.
No, people can be good. People can be good on that show. That's what's crazy.
Who?
Karen
John
Pittman.
Hamm. Okay, fine.
Billy Crudup. Billy Crudup is great on that show. Karen Pittman, great on that show. Okay.
John Hamm.
John
Say
Hamm
it.
was great on that show.
Okay, let's move on.
Allison Williams, star of Megan 2.0, secretly married Alexander Draymond.
Boring. Don't care.
I'm so
Sorry.
bored. Let's do Rita.
What was she wearing? Where was she seen? She posted what on Instagram? She's the Who Queen. Tens of people want to know all about the number one Who. Lindsay, Bobby, tell us now. What's Rita Ora up to?
Who is this woman?
Rita Ora says birthday party that breached lockdown. Oh no, not this again. Rita, don't remind them you did this. We moved on from this. Rita?
All of this is from a like hour and 15-minute podcast that you have to put the clips in. It's so good.
So who'd she give the interview to?
Davina
Not to
McCall,
us?
one of the most iconic TV presenters in
Ugh.
Britain. They brought up everything, Lindsay. They talked about everything. It's like an hour and a half conversation, hour and 15 minutes. It's so good. Rita is so, I don't want to say charming, but she's in like serious interview mode. She's very, very serious. And you can tell that she's like kind of old friends with Davina, because Davina's like, I've been rooting for you forever. Like, I remember when you told me that you were married before you told the rest of the world. And like, you can tell there is like a relationship there.
But it's funny because she's saying, oh God, she's so smart. She's twisting the COVID party to be like
A learning moment.
Right. Well, that, but also she was like, she explained it like I was living every moment like
Yeah.
it was my last.
Mhm.
And that's why I did that. Like I was like careless because I was so scared to turn 30.
And she also was like pretty smart in tying all of this into like sort of a larger insight about herself, where it's like, yeah, she was partying because she was living every day like it was her last, because she was just being sort of like young and thoughtless or whatever. But then it's also tied to her like deep-seated hypochondria, where she's like, I'm so afraid of death because of these things that happened to me during my childhood and my family. She talks about the fact that she proposed to Taika, not the other way around. She like got the rings, went down on her knee and everything. She talks about Becky with the good hair. She talks about how Beyonce was so kind to her during that moment when she was like, it was one of my first experiences where I was like,
She was being attacked.
Or the press can attack me and not just sort of like be sort of kooky crazy, lift me up in a way. And she was like, that really fucked me up.
I do want to touch on this, but you have already said that it wasn't you, but Becky with the brown hair was
Good hair.
Good hair. I mean, Becky with the,
We've got to get it right.
Becky with the good hair. Becky with the good hair.
Yeah.
It was such a mad moment in your life.
Oh, I didn't even remember that.
Oh my God.
You know why? Because I have, in my mind, I've had worse things. Things have affected me worse than that.
What affected you? Well, first of all, I'm going to finish that.
Because it wasn't real.
It wasn't you.
Of course not. Absolutely not. I wish I had good hair. Can we start there?
You've got great
That's why I've got this hair care line out to help grow my hair out, because my hair has been damaged since 2013 from all the styling and bleaching. So, but no, yeah, none of that was real. It was the first time I experienced like what it means to have to be in like a messy situation, I guess.
The best bit in terms of like someone who's a fan of her is probably the like 5 minutes that she spends on talking about how she got her first record deal, like how she met Jay-Z, was flown to like Rock Nation in New York, and like everything happened really quickly. And then
We've heard that story
but
before.
she recorded
no?
like
She's told that
the
story.
but like to talk about like the whirlwind direct from her mouth being like, I just suddenly was part of this system and I didn't even know how the system worked. And then I was recording like hundreds of songs, but nothing was happening with them. And she was like, I was slowly learning. And I think this happens to a lot of young artists where it's like, you don't learn how the record industry works until you've signed a deal and suddenly you're in it. And I guess the most interesting part about it is that when Davina, somewhere in the middle, is sort of like, well, what do you want to do next? Like, what do you want from your career now that you've done all these things? You're so hardworking or whatever. And she's fully on like, yeah, I want to release music and tour. She wants to act. She's like, I want to do more movies.
No?
And she wants, and she's like, and my husband is, really helping with that sort of dream of mine.
You talked a bit about being really excited about your future.
Yeah.
What are your dreams?
Oh, Davina. I want to do a lot more movies. I love film, and I think my husband's become a big part of that for me. He's opened my eyes up to some incredible films. More movies. A lovely, great album. A great tour. And, then maybe a family. We'll see how we feel.
But I like that, like, okay, the main pull out of this is her saying this lockdown party that I had that was very ill-advised, that I shouldn't have done, and I got in so much trouble for. I would argue she got more in trouble in the UK than in the where she's more famous. She got more in trouble, obviously. She said that changed my life because I never understood the responsibility that she had as a public figure to behave ethically.
Yeah.
That's what she said. She said it was hard for me to realize that I am in a position of power. And I think maybe that has a lot to do with people being like, you're not famous. But in fact, she is famous. So like, maybe that's kind of our fault.
Yeah.
Damn. Are you willing to take responsibility for that, Bobby?
Me? No.
Wait, I think you should take responsibility for calling Rita Ora not that famous because that caused her to have the mindset that she could throw a lockdown party.
No.
Okay, well, I tried.
I think that I would say that the chicest way to do it is to just rise above and keep going, which has always been my motto. I've never focused on the negative of trying to explain myself. And that's also another thing. If you really, really need or know me, you would know what the real truth is of things. And I've always been the first to admit when I've done something wrong, when something isn't right, or when I've made a mistake, or, I have never lied and I never will lie to my fans or the public. And I think that is something that's priceless. Like, I think that trust and the vulnerability and the humanness of me, I think has really eventually now worked in my favor.
I feel like it's taken a long time, though. I feel like
it's been over a decade.
Yeah, you had a long time of having stuff thrown at you.
I know.
That was unfair. It just felt like a lot, and the pressure.
It's a really good interview. And again, I don't quite know. I don't quite know what she's promoting, but when isn't she promoting something?
What do you mean? She's promoting Heat. Yeah, Heat. Oh, man, that.
Oh, I guess you're right. It's just Heat.
Rita Ora promotes things until she has a new thing.
And I guess I think she has a new Primark collection because I did walk by Primark over the weekend and I was like, oh, she's wearing new clothes in these photos.
New Primark collection, Your Heat on Me. And she also is hinting at Rita Ora 4 or whatever the next album is called. Like whatever her next album is. Rita Ora 5 or 4.
It'll be 4 because she technically only has, in terms of the United States, she only has like Phoenix.
Well, don't forget, her Phoenix was not the debut, but then became the debut.
It was sort of the debut. Anyway, you should listen to the podcast. If you like Rita Ora, you should listen to it. And also, Davina McCall is like iconic and good at her job. We will see you on Friday on Who's There. Keep calling in at 619-WHO-THEM to leave questions, comments, and concerns for our Friday show, which is a call-in show. Thank you to Katie and Eric of The Who's for providing our Rita theme song on Tuesdays. Thank you to Timmy, our research and editorial assistant, for researching and editorializing. Support us on patreon.com/showweekly for bonus episodes, the Discord server, commentary tracks, and more. You can also get the audio only on Apple Podcasts. Just click subscribe within the app. And I think that's it. We're talking about the Gilded Age. We're talking about, and just like that, we're talking about movies, music, themy celeb shit. And we'll see you all over on our VIP feeds. Bye.
You will dream it.
They want to know.
Hey. 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 I want to be famous.